Remember this guy? Nusret Gökçe, better known as Salt Bae. In 2017, he was on top of the world, a charismatic butcher from Turkey whose unique style made him an overnight internet sensation. For a moment, he was the coolest, most in-demand chef on the planet. Now, his name is connected to something else entirely. Multi-million-dollar lawsuits, cringy public appearances, failing restaurants, being kicked from parties. He went from a global sensation to a global punchline. So what happened? How did one of the biggest memes in history become a walking cautionary tale? Before he was Salt Bae, he was just Nusret. Born into a poor family in Turkey, he dropped out of school and became a butcher's apprentice at just 14 years old. By all accounts, he was incredibly hardworking, putting in 18-hour days to learn the trade. He opened his first Nusret steakhouse in Istanbul in 2010. It was successful, but he was still a local name. Then, on January 7, 2017, everything changed. This 36-second video was lightning in a bottle. It wasn't just about the food, it was a performance. The tight white t-shirt, the slick back hair, the sunglasses, and that final sensual sprinkle of salt. It was bizarre, it was hypnotic, and the internet became obsessed. Overnight, Nusret Gökçe the chef was gone, and Salt Bae the brand was born. The fame was instant and all-consuming. His restaurants became theaters of wealth. A-listers, athletes, and billionaires didn't just go there to eat. They went there to be seen and to get the photo for Instagram. His empire expanded at a dizzying pace, opening locations in the world's most glamorous cities: Miami, Dubai, London, New York. And the prices were designed to match the hype. He wasn't just selling steak, he was selling status. He once proudly posted a customer's bill that totaled over $180,000. On the menu, a single can of Red Bull for $15, fries for $25, and of course, the infamous gold-covered tomahawk steak, which could run you over $1,500. Even at his peak, food critics were whispering that it was all style and no substance, but the hype was a tidal wave, and for a while, it drowned out any criticism. Salt Bae was on top of the world, but this is where the problems began. He started to believe he wasn't just playing a character, he was the character. Salt Bae's downfall wasn't a sudden crash, it was a slow burn, caused by a series of scandals and terrible decisions. It all boils down to three main reasons. Reason number one, the product was a fraud. Let's start with his signature dish, the golden steak. The secret to this ultra-luxury item, edible gold leaf, has zero taste, zero texture. It's essentially a shiny, edible piece of paper you can buy on Amazon for about $10. He was charging people thousands for a gimmick that cost him pennies. Once the initial viral buzz wore off, people started asking the obvious question: is the food actually good? The answer, according to thousands of reviews, was a resounding no. Customers described the high-priced steaks as tough, bland, and chewy. His restaurants were labeled the most overpriced meals of our lives. His flagship London restaurant saw profits plummet by over 40% and had to resort to offering a £39 lunch menu just to fill empty tables. His Boston location was temporarily shut down by the health department for a laundry list of safety violations, including employees not wearing masks and blocked fire exits. Reason number two, the tyrant behind the scenes. While he played a charming showman for the cameras, a much darker picture was being painted behind the scenes. Former employees began coming forward with lawsuits, accusing him of creating a toxic work environment. One of the most common allegations was that he systematically skimmed 3% of all tips from his staff. When employees in his New York restaurant confronted him about it, they were fired. They later sued him and won a $230,000 settlement. But the stories kept coming. Other lawsuits described him as a dictator with a god complex. The man who looked like a hero on Instagram was being exposed as a villain to his own employees. Reason number three, the PR nightmares. As his ego grew, he became completely tone deaf. In 2018, while Venezuela was suffering a severe food crisis, Salt Bae proudly posted a video of himself lavishing a steak dinner on its controversial dictator Nicolas Maduro. The outrage was immediate, sparking protests outside his Miami restaurant. But perhaps the most disturbing incident happened at his Istanbul location. During one of his tableside fire shows, the stunt went horribly wrong. A fireball erupted, engulfing a table of customers. 4 people were seriously burned, with one tourist suffering third-degree burns on over 35% of her body. Instead of taking responsibility, the restaurant was accused of trying to destroy the security footage to cover it up. But if there was one single moment that sealed his fate in the court of public opinion, it was this: the 2022 FIFA World Cup final. Argentina had just won one of the greatest games in sports history.
The players were crying, hugging, celebrating a pure, raw national triumph. And then Salt Bae appears. He forced his way onto the pitch, treating a sacred moment like his personal photo op. He relentlessly hounded Lionel Messi, physically grabbing his arm as Messi tried to walk away. Then, in the ultimate act of hubris, he took the actual World Cup trophy from the players, a prize reserved only for champions and heads of state, and posed with it, even biting a player's medal. The backlash was global. He wasn't a funny meme anymore. He was a cringy, desperate clout chaser who had disrespected a historic moment. FIFA was so embarrassed they launched an investigation and banned him from future events. You would think, after the worldwide embarrassment at the World Cup, he might lay low. You would be wrong. A video went viral. He tried to get into the exclusive star-studded after-party. According to reports, like the one from Mashable Middle East, organizers were on high alert. They had a clear message. Salt Bae was not welcome. When he showed up, dressed in a full tuxedo and his signature sunglasses, he was reportedly stopped at the entrance and denied entry. The man who once had every A-lister at his table was now literally being left out in the cold. Of course, Salt Bae tried to do damage control. He posted videos on his Instagram from a different party, pretending everything was fine. He even claimed he didn't want to go in, and was just passing by. But no one was buying it. Who just passes by a VIP party in a full tuxedo? The internet celebrated the security team like heroes. It was the final public confirmation of his fall from grace. He had gone from the ultimate insider to the ultimate outsider.
You can build a brand on a meme, but you can't sustain it on a gimmick alone. Eventually, people want substance, not just style. Salt Bae had a golden opportunity to build a lasting restaurant legacy, but he got lost in his own reflection. He's still a rich man, but his reputation is in tatters. And his story serves as a perfect example of what happens when you let internet fame rot your brand from the inside out. What do you guys think? Is the backlash deserved? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. If you found this video interesting, give it a like and subscribe for more breakdowns like this one. Thanks for watching.